I haven't done a live before. This is my first time, and I just wanted to try something different to have a live conversation rather than a pre-recorded video. So let's see how it goes. My name is Ugonwa Udwizwe. For those who don't know me, for those who are coming into my channel for the first time, and I coach women into reclaiming their femininity, their softness, and into walking in their God-given purpose. If this is your first time, you're so welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Today, I want to talk about womanhood and what it truly means, right? Um, Ever since I was young, I've heard that word thrown around, womanhood. And for every time that word was used, it usually meant a woman who is able to keep a home, a woman who is able to raise kids, a woman who is able to submit fully to a man. And while those are good things, I just didn't think that that was the fullness of everything a woman is designed to be, or that that was a representation of everything a woman is. And so I started researching, and I came up with some really nice um, concepts that I want to quickly share with you. And so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. And so I put down some notes. And so I will be looking at my notes and I'll be sharing with you. Okay? Let's get into it right away. So womanhood actually goes much deeper than just being a female. It's about identity, it's about character, it's about stewardship, it's about relationships, it's about femininity. It's all wrapped together in one. Everything that makes up a woman, right? And for Christians, and for everybody really, our identity is rooted in God. Our identity has nothing to do with if she's married or she's not married. In Africa, there's this connotation of there's something wrong with you, you're not really complete, or you're not fully woman if you are not married. It has nothing to do with whether you have children or you don't. Every woman has a nurturing ability within them, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you birthed children. All right. Um, it also has nothing to do, your value has nothing to do with how successful you are when it comes to finances, career, ministry, and the likes, right? It's also not about how attractive she looks. So every woman to me is beautiful. It just depends on how you present yourself. Every woman is beautiful. I don't believe that God made any woman ugly. Okay? Every woman is beautiful. So just learn how to package yourself, learn how to refine your appearance, and voila, the beauty in you comes out. So it's also not really about how attractive she is. It's not about how many men like her or don't like her. That's not what defines you as a woman. Okay? So, healthy womanhood begins from a place of identity. Do you know who you are as a woman? Do you know whose you are as a woman? All right? So, I know who I am. I don't need to perform for validation, and that should be the posture of every woman. So any woman who understands womanhood is a woman who knows who she is and doesn't need to perform. And it's so sad that in our society, women are constantly performing. They are never fully able to just be. It's a schooling now that, with all the coaches who are now teaching us femininity, feminine energy, how to be women, because we have performed for so long that we don't even know how to be us anymore, right? And so it comes from first identity. Now I want to talk about a woman also knowing her value and her worth. When you know your identity, you somehow just really know your worth and your value, and you realize that it comes from whose you are, your source, which is God, not from all the other superficial or material things or all the other labels that human beings tend to attach to each other, right? Now, I also want to talk about womanhood as stewardship. Womanhood involves stewardship. Now, a mature woman actually does learn how to take responsibility for what has been entrusted to her. Have you noticed that women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they just have a certain calmness, a certain wisdom that comes with age, comes with exposure, comes with now finally knowing who they are and being settled in who they are, right? Womanhood involves wisdom. It involves stewardship, I'm sorry. So, what has been entrusted to you as a woman, your body, your mind, your relationships, your finances, your sexuality, your gifts. You can sing, you can cook, you can create things, you can draw, whatever giftings you've been given, you can speak. The ability to take responsibility for those things, to nurture those things, to grow those things, to make sure that they become everything they can be, is part and parcel of what womanhood is about. Your spiritual life is something that has been entrusted into your hands, and it's something you have to intentionally also steward. Okay? Your environment, very important. So, as a woman, the fact that you are in an environment should bring a certain level of sanity to that environment. There's a level of detailing and organization that comes with the fact that a woman is around. When a woman comes into a space, she kind of just knows what to do to make that place come alive. Decor, keeping clean, colors, smells, right? These are a woman's forte. And so when I say stewardship, it's really all encompassing. Your environment is part of the things that you are stewarding. Your sexuality is part of the things you're stewarding, which means how you carry yourself as a woman. How do you present yourself? How do you talk? How do you, how do you move? Right? How do you show up as a woman? Okay. And that's why self-leadership is very, very important, because you cannot fully steward anything you've been given when you don't know how to govern yourself. It comes from self-government, self-leadership, and that's when you can truly create a life that can influence other people, that can make other people happy, that can bring out the best in other people. Hi, Cobra Song. Hi, I don't want to murder the name. Okay, so womanhood is really learning also about the art of being soft and also being strong. There's no law that says that because you're a woman, there's no strength attached to you. As a woman, you're strong. You have what it takes to make sound decisions, to do seemingly difficult things, right? So you can have standards with grace. You can have ambition with femininity. Ambition doesn't have to be equated with masculinity, a feminine woman can also be ambitious, right? She can want things, she can have a big vision. They can be things that, yes, John Akinwade, yes, that's right. So she can have things as well that she wants to achieve, but that doesn't mean that her feminine nature is going to be overruled. Okay, so she can be ambitious and yet feminine. She can be intelligent with humility. So what we see nowadays is that we have a lot of women who, especially the younger generation coming up, because you have access to money, you have higher education, you have um, exposure into certain spaces, you tend to start sounding a bit arrogant. Intelligence doesn't equate to arrogance. You can be intelligent and still stay humble. That is part of womanhood. Confidence with teachability. So the fact that you're meek and teachable doesn't mean you're not confident. You're able to have a high sense of self-esteem, but you're also open to learning. Okay? Independence with the capacity to receive. That's another thing that is very common here. Oh, I have my own, I don't need anything from you. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. No, no. Womanhood means that you can be independent in the sense that you are not a lazy person. You can work, you can make a living, you can earn a living, but you are also humble enough to accept help, to receive help when it's offered. You find a lot of women who are really independent financially, and then they enter relationships and they don't know how to allow a man help them with anything. You just keep proving points. I can do this by myself. If you do anyhow, I'm just going to walk out of here. I don't need anything. And all that. Da, 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 da. No, 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 no. No. You can be independent and still have capacity to receive. In fact, receiving is one of the traits of womanhood. Your receptivity is part of the trait of womanhood, of femininity. Okay, so the goal is not to become hard so nobody hurts you, because that's what we see now. Maybe you've been hurt, maybe someone broke your heart, maybe something happened in the past that, made you feel like, oh, I'm never going to put myself out there again, I'm never going to be vulnerable again, I'm never going to allow this to happen to me again. I understand it, but the idea is not for you to become so sorry. Okay, the idea is not for you to become so hard that you can't be vulnerable, that you're hiding, you don't want anybody to hurt you. No, the idea is for you to become wise enough to know what deserves access to you. So boundaries. Womanhood helps you develop boundaries. There are some things that you can give access to you, access to your time, your emotions, your energy. And if it's not deserving of access, then you know how to block it. But you're not showing up like this strong, hard person that doesn't show emotions. No. Okay? Now, womanhood is also about relationships. Yes. Women are very relational beings. We are so relational. Okay, so this often reveals the level of our maturity. So how you handle your relationships reveals the level of your maturity. A woman in relationships, whether it's with a spouse, with a partner of the opposite sex, with friends, with your children, a woman needs to learn how to communicate. There is a way to communicate depending on the situation, depending on the environment, depending on who you're communicating with. There is a way to communicate. Okay, so a woman needs to learn how to apologize. A woman needs to learn how to apologize. A woman needs to learn how to receive correction. A woman needs to learn how to establish boundaries. A woman needs to be able to disagree respectfully. Earlier this morning, I saw something on someone's status, and it said that it's a very green flag when a woman can be mad at her husband and still speak to him with respect. That's a high level of maturity, because most of the time when you're angry, you react negatively. Maybe you don't want to talk to the person, or you start, running your mouth as a woman, or you start giving the silent treatment. But a woman who has grown in maturity is able to communicate that I am upset with you without disrespecting the person. That's womanhood. Okay. It's a woman is also supposed to learn how to choose friendships. Like I said, everybody shouldn't have access to you as a woman. So you should be able to choose friendships. A woman has to learn how to love fully without losing herself. That's another thing that is common. So we are usually on two extremes. It's either I really don't want to love anybody, or you love so much so that you don't know where you start and where you end, or where the other person starts and where they end. Like you pour out so much of yourself that there's nothing left of you. That's not correct. It shouldn't be so. So you should be able to love without losing yourself. A woman needs to learn how to recognize manipulation. Yes, you have to be discerning. You have to be able to tell when someone is using your head. So because you're a woman doesn't mean that, oh, you suspend your senses or your brains. No, it has to be active and working, right? So you should be able to tell when someone is manipulating you. A woman needs to learn how to honor people without idolizing them. You can honor people, but they don't need to become idols. That stems from knowing who you are, knowing your inherent worth and value. So you can honor, but you don't idolize. Okay? Now, especially in relationships, I had that issue at some point because of some of the trainings and things I've been exposed to. I had this mindset that, oh, when you're married, of course your husband is the king of the house, but it doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion. It doesn't mean that there's nothing you bring, that the man is the be all do all, right? So you have to yes, of course, a woman John, a woman will pour her love on you. I'm just saying she shouldn't lose herself. That's what I'm saying. Yes. So she can love you, but she doesn't have to lose herself, because if she does, you're not going to love her anymore, right? Okay, so um especially in relationships, like I was saying, but over time I started learning that my husband actually needs me to be able to say, no, why don't we do it like this? Why don't we do it like this? Or call him out when he's doing something wrong. I used to be afraid to speak out because I felt like I'll be disrespecting him. It will look like I'm not submitting. So I'd rather just be quiet, die in silence. But maturity, growth started making me realize that no, I'm not bringing my best self into this relationship, and I'm not even doing him any good if I don't learn how to distinguish between honoring someone and idolizing them. Okay? Now, womanhood includes femininity. Yes, that's one of my favorite topics. Femininity. Femininity can be expressed through appearance, through speech, through courage, through nurturing, elegance, warmth, and emotional intelligence and grace. But femininity is much bigger than wearing dresses, high heels, and makeup, right? It's much bigger than cooking or being soft in quotes. A woman can wear beautiful clothes and still lack refinement. Yes, I've seen them a lot. A lot of women that look set from head to toe, hair on fleek, outfits perfectly done, lashes, nails, shoes, everything looking beautiful. But their character, how they speak, how they move, how they carry themselves is all wrong. So a woman can be can wear beautiful clothes and still lack refinement. So refinement is something you have to learn as a woman. Okay. The more important question is not how does she look, it's what does her presence communicate. So a real woman who has grown into real womanhood should be able to communicate peace and not chaos when she enters the space. Some of those women that when they come in, you just know that, okay, wise counsel is about to come now. She will give wise counsel, right? She knows how to calm down the situation. That's the kind of woman you want to be. Okay. Um, what does her presence communicate? Does she bring peace or chaos? Does she exercise wisdom or impulsiveness? So somebody says something that upsets you and then you just go haywire. You start talking or you start reacting, right? That's not mature womanhood. Okay. Does she respect herself and others? And since I have a lot of guys in my comment section, I would like to say that some of these qualities that I'm mentioning are things you should be looking out for when you're actually looking out for women, maybe partners, people you want to be with. These are the things that should be more important because they are the things that last and they are the things that bring you, that help you become the man that you're supposed to be in the long run. Not how beautiful she is, not how curvy she is, not how much money she makes. Okay? Right. So, does she respect herself and others? Can she carry herself appropriately in different environments? If she's in public, if she's in an office environment, if she's hosting, if she's invited to a wedding, if she's invited to a friend's house, how will she conduct herself? How will she speak? How will she respond? How will she show up? Does she know how to carry herself appropriately in different environments? Does her beauty have substance behind it? Oh, thank you, Prince Will. Thank you so much. Now, womanhood requires becoming. I've mentioned a lot of things, and the truth is that we're not born mature, we're not born real women per se. We're born female and then we get groomed into womanhood. That's why it's called womanhood. There's a becoming, there's a process of learning, there's a process of unlearning. For some of us who have already grown and didn't learn some of these things, we have to intentionally put ourselves under training to learn these things. Okay, so you don't simply just wake up one morning and become a fully mature woman. That is also why the older women are supposed to help and train the younger ones. That's what the Bible said, because God knows that we don't just get born and we're mature. There will be that girl in us that is still trying to find her way, still trying to learn how to regulate her emotions and her nervous system, trying to learn how to treat other people, trying to even figure out who she is as a person. Okay, so if you have a young girl in your space, give her some grace. It's a process of becoming. All right, so you learn, you make mistakes, you heal, because some people have been hurt and the hurt now turned them hard. The hurt made them, turn them to these very invulnerable people, turn them into this kind of very independent, very harsh, very aggressive people. right? So you have to heal. You have to develop discernment. That's why I said you have to recognize when people are trying to manipulate you. And you have to grow emotional intelligence. You have to grow emotional intelligence. So it's only when a woman has learned and understood who she is. Because remember, the first thing I said about womanhood is it stems from identity. The woman has to first understand who she is, understand whose she is. She belongs to God. The woman belongs to God. I belong to God, right? So when she has understood this, develops her character. So when you know who you are, you know whose you are, then you start developing your character. Okay? Your speech, your courage, your appearance, your emotional intelligence, your discernment, all of those things. Your industry, what you do with your hands that help you maybe earn a living. Um, when she learns how to govern herself, when she learns how to govern herself, she's not reactive. Any little thing, she's reacting, right? She learns how to govern herself. When she cultivates her gifts, everybody has a gift that God has given you. You have to figure out what that gift is, and then you have to intentionally cultivate it. Okay? So when she has done all of these things and works in wisdom, wisdom is an age-old trait of womanhood. Women are supposed to be wise. Wisdom can come from experience, it can come from learning, being under mentorship and coaching, where someone shows you the way. But you have to be teachable for someone to be able to mentor you. If you're not teachable, how can somebody show you the way? Because you already feel like you know everything. So you're not going to be wise. You might have knowledge, but you won't be wise. Okay? So wisdom comes from exposing yourself to training, to teaching, to correction. You have to be open to correction, open to chastisement. Okay? So when she does all of this, then and only then, she becomes capable of truly influencing her home, her relationships, her community, her career, and her generation without losing herself. So I don't know if I have any women on this live right here, but I'm really loving how the life has gone, and I hope you've been able to learn something. If there are any questions from anybody, I would like to hear them so that I can answer them, and we will come to the end of this live session. Hi, Bright. How you doing? Thank you all so much for showing up to my live. This is my first live session. I'm so excited. Do I have any questions? Any questions? Okay. Keep going. Hi, Aramide. How you doing, Aramide? I should keep going. Well, I think I've come to the end of what I have to say tonight. It would be helpful if you ask a question, then I'll know where to go. If not, I'm done for the night. I'm going to be having live sessions every Wednesday on YouTube. So feel free to subscribe, turn on your notification button so that you know when I'm here on live. I think lives will be easier for me to follow through than actually making pre-recorded videos. So yes. Thank you all so much for coming into my life and for staying with me till I finished, and for actually enjoying the life and asking me to keep going. It means a lot to me. My name is Ugonwa Udwezwe, and I help women reclaim their softness. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Aramide. I appreciate it. So I help women reclaim their softness. Usually high achieving women reclaim their softness and refine their character, their appearance, and walk in their God given purpose. So if you have a sister, you have a friend, you have a wife that you want to help to start learning how to become a real woman, then by all means share my page with them. Let them subscribe, and I will be here every Wednesday. Thank you all so much for showing up. I have to go now. I have to go now. Bye bye. Yes.